Hunk is a very mysterious part of the Resident Evil story. We know very little about him outside of his affiliation to Umbrella, not even his real name. We do know he received training at the Military Training Center on Rockford Island in 1996. Hunk carried out many successful operations for Umbrella, often being the sole survivor. And as for this reason, he is sometimes referred to as the Grim Reaper. Hunk was responsible for leading the Alpha team in Operation Nestwrecker. Operation Nestwrecker began as a means to contain an out-of-control Dr. William Birkin. Umbrella became increasingly suspicious of Dr. Birkin as he was in contact with the U.S. military about selling the G-Virus. The G-Virus was Birkin's most loved project. He was so dedicated to this project, he continued development even though Umbrella ceased funding. Birkin continued to ignore headquarters requests, resulting in them making a plan to seize the G-Virus by force. This was the objective of Operation Nestwrecker, to seize the samples of the G-Virus. On September 22, 1998, the Alpha team cornered Birkin in his laboratory, infiltrating the lab through the ceiling at about 11:45 p.m. At first, Birkin appeared he would begrudgingly cooperate. Birkin placed the G-Virus samples into a storage case, and Hunk ordered Birkin to go with them. Birkin wasn't a fan of this and decided he'd rather let his pistol explain his feelings to them about that. Against Umbrella's orders, he was shot and presumed dead. The storage case containing the virus was seized by the team. Hunk and his team began their exit. However, unbeknownst to them, Birkin had one remaining sample he injected into himself shortly after being shot. As the team headed through the sewers to reach their extraction point, they were confronted by Dr. Birkin. He was now mutated and on a rampage for revenge. During their brawl, the case of samples spilled, where Birkin, now being called just simply G, consumed the G-Virus samples and crushed the T-Virus samples. This contaminated the local sewer water as well as the sewer rats, which led to an eventual contamination of the city's water supply, releasing the T-Virus into the city. Hunk and Goblin 6 were the only survivors of this incident. However, Goblin 6 was critically injured. Broadcasting on her radio for help, Hunk heard her calls, declaring, "This is a war. Survival is your responsibility." Goblin 6 then died on September 30th. This is an example of Hunk's cold, ruthless demeanor and how it served him for his survival and success on missions. Hunk's only focus was to return a surviving virus sample to his superiors. For several days, Hunk survived Raccoon City with the remaining sample until finally being rescued by helicopter on September 30th. Hunk was then given the task to deliver the sample to Christine Henry, located in a village in France. And this is where I say the rest of that story is due for another time. If you've made it this far and enjoyed this content, please give me a follow or leave me a comment to tell me what you'd like to hear next.